Napoleon is tearing through Europe. Britain is 20 miles away, and he cannot touch it. Across the Channel, his invasion army waits. Men drill beside thousands of boats. Guns, horses, supplies, everything is ready. Napoleon only needs one thing: a few safe days at sea. That is where Horatio Nelson appears. Nelson never fights Napoleon face to face. They never meet, they never even see each other. But Nelson destroys the only road Napoleon needs, and that road is water. By 1805, Napoleon owns the land game. Put an army in front of him, he usually finds a way through. Austria learns this. Italy learns this. Prussia will learn it soon. Britain has a different defense, not a bigger army, a strip of seawater. The English Channel looks almost trivial. On clear days, France feels close. But armies cannot march across it. They need transport ships. Those ships need protection. And protection means controlling the channel. Napoleon does not need it forever. He needs it briefly, long enough to move his army. That sounds possible. France has powerful fleets. Spain is fighting beside France. Together, they have plenty of ships. But those ships are scattered. Some sit in French ports. Others sit in Spanish ports. British squadrons watch almost all of them, so Napoleon creates a complicated plan. His fleets will break out, they will draw Britain away, then they will combine, then they will rush the Channel, then the invasion can begin. It works beautifully on a map. The ocean is less impressed. Wind changes schedules. Orders arrive late. Fleets miss each other. British ships keep appearing, and one admiral keeps chasing them. Horatio Nelson already knows this game. He learned it years earlier. In 1798, Napoleon sails for Egypt. Britain knows he has disappeared. Nobody knows where. Nelson is sent hunting. He searches the Mediterranean. He guesses wrong. Napoleon reaches Egypt first. French troops land safely. Nelson has missed him. So much for the legend. But Nelson keeps looking. Weeks later, he finds the French fleet. It is anchored at Aboukir Bay. The position looks strong. The ships form a defensive line. Shallow water protects one side. Open sea protects the other. At least, that is the idea. Nelson arrives late in the day. Sunset is coming. A cautious commander might wait. Nelson attacks immediately. The British fleet moves in. Then Captain Thomas Foley sees something. There may be water near shore. Enough for a warship. He turns inside the French line. Other British ships follow. Now the French face both directions. Their protected side is suddenly exposed. The front ships get trapped. British guns hit from both sides. And Nelson did not order this move. Not directly. That is the important part. Foley knows what Nelson wants. He sees the opening. He takes it. Nelson has built that instinct deliberately. Before battles, he talks constantly. Not about every tiny movement. About the purpose. Get close. Concentrate your ships. Keep attacking. Do not wait for perfect signals. Because perfect signals disappear quickly. Cannons create smoke. Smoke hides flags. Masts fall. Ships drift. Captains lose sight of each other. A fleet can become chaos fast. Nelson does not fear that chaos. He prepares his captains for it. He wants them thinking without him. That makes his fleet unusually fast. Not faster through the water. Faster when decisions matter. An opening appears. A captain takes it. No signal needs to arrive first. At Aboukir Bay, they do. Then darkness covers the battle. The firing continues. Ships burn against the black water. Then the French flagship catches fire. L'Orient is enormous. It also carries huge ammunition stores. The fire reaches them. The ship explodes. For a moment, everything goes quiet. Then the battle starts again. By morning, the French fleet is ruined. Napoleon still has his army. But now it is stranded. He conquered Egypt. Nelson attacked the connection behind it. That lesson stays with him. Napoleon is strongest on land. So Nelson attacks what land needs. Armies need ships to move. Ships need open water. 7 years later, Britain becomes the target. Napoleon gathers troops near Boulogne. The invasion force is enormous. The distance is still 20 miles. And those 20 miles remain closed. Napoleon needs his fleets moving. So Admiral Villeneuve leaves Toulon. Nelson goes after him. Villeneuve crosses the Atlantic. Nelson follows. Villeneuve reaches the Caribbean. Nelson follows. Then Villeneuve turns back. Nelson follows again. They cross the ocean twice. They still do not fight. For Nelson, this is frustrating. For Napoleon, it is disastrous. His plan depends on timing. Several fleets must meet. British blockades must be avoided. The Channel must open. And every delay makes that harder. Napoleon waits at Boulogne. The opening never comes. Eventually, he changes targets. In August 1805, the army marches east. Britain is no longer the immediate target. Austria is. Napoleon will soon destroy it. So Nelson has not beaten Napoleon. Not yet. The French fleet still exists. That means Britain still watches. Then Villeneuve sails from Cadiz. Now Nelson gets his chance. October 21, 1805. The fleets meet near Cape Trafalgar. Villeneuve has 33 ships. Nelson has 27. The Allied fleet forms one long line. That is normal naval warfare. Nelson does something very abnormal. He forms two columns, then points straight at the line. This creates a serious problem. Warships fire from their sides. Nelson is approaching from the front. His leading ships cannot answer properly. The enemy can. So victory sails into cannon fire. Shot tears through the sails. Rigging crashes onto the deck. Wood explodes into splinters. Men fall before firing back. And Nelson keeps going. This looks reckless, because it is reckless. That danger buys him one thing: a path into the formation. Nelson does not want a clean duel. He wants to get inside. He wants to break the formation. He wants the battle to become local. Small fights, close range, captains acting alone. Exactly what he trained for. The first British column hits hard. Collingwood crashes into the enemy rear. Nelson follows toward the center. Victory takes more punishment. Then it reaches the Allied line. The geometry changes instantly. The long formation breaks apart. Ships in front keep sailing. Ships behind get trapped. Orders become harder to send. Support becomes harder to organize. The battle stops being one battle. Now it is many smaller battles. That is Nelson's battlefield. British ships crowd isolated enemies. Their crews fire rapidly. Their captains keep moving forward. Nobody waits for perfect instructions. There are none. Victory crosses behind Bucentaure. The French flagship is exposed. Victory fires into its stern. The shots travel down the decks. Men, guns, wood, everything is hit. One broadside tears through the ship. The Allied center begins collapsing. Nelson has broken the line. Now comes the price. Victory locks beside Redoubtable. The ships are almost touching. Cannons fire at brutal range. French marksmen shoot from above. Nelson stays on the open deck. His uniform makes him easy to spot. Then, a musket ball hits him. It enters through his shoulder. Nelson collapses. He knows the wound is fatal. His crew carries him below, and this should create a problem. The battle still needs commanding. Its commander is dying. But almost nothing changes. Above deck, British captains keep attacking. They already know the objective. Break the enemy. Support each other. Stay close. Finish the fight. Nelson cannot signal them anymore. They do not need him to. That is the real Nelson touch. Not one clever trick. Not one perfect order. A fleet that keeps thinking. Even after Nelson disappears, ship after ship is surrounded. French and Spanish vessels surrender. Others try to escape. By evening, the Allied fleet is shattered. Britain loses no ship in battle. Nelson never sees the full result. He dies below Victory's deck. Napoleon is still alive. His army is still terrifying. Weeks later, he proves it. At Austerlitz, Napoleon wins brilliantly. So Trafalgar does not destroy Napoleon. It destroys one of his options, the sea. After Trafalgar, Britain becomes unreachable, not literally, strategically. France can still build ships. It can still fight at sea. But challenging British control becomes far harder, and without control of the Channel, Napoleon cannot move his main weapon, his army. That changes the entire war. Britain now has strategic breathing room. Napoleon cannot simply end the problem. He must fight Britain indirectly, block its trade, pressure its allies, control the continent around it. But Britain itself stays beyond him. Britain can keep trading overseas. British ships can move troops. British money can fund allies. Another coalition can form. Napoleon can beat it. Then Britain helps form another. Napoleon can conquer capitals. Britain remains outside his reach. That is the frustrating part. His victories are enormous, but they do not finish the war. The enemy across the water survives, and survival gives Europe more chances. Nelson never defeats Napoleon's army. He defeats the route to Britain. At the Nile, he cuts Napoleon off. At Trafalgar, he closes the door. Same idea, much bigger consequence. Napoleon's genius is concentration. Put strength at the decisive point. Overwhelm the enemy there. Nelson's answer is simple. At sea, deny him that point. Keep the fleets apart. Break them when they combine. Never give Napoleon the window. Europe takes Napoleon years to dominate. Britain is 20 miles away. 20 miles, and he never gets across them.